What's going on, Jets fans? It's your boy DT back in the film room, ready to take a look at Justin Fields versus the New York Giants defense. This is week 2 of the preseason. I have 8 clips of the 19 plays that Justin Fields played with the starters ready to show you guys. And I think the focus of today's film room session is not to focus on the success or the failures of Justin Fields' performance. Obviously, he went 1 for 5 with 4 yards passing, so you never want to see that. But I think it's more to show you the bones of Tanner Engstrand's offense and the multiple variations off of each play that can potentially lead to something more explosive and more creative in the regular season that perhaps they just didn't want to show on film during the preseason. So more just a foreshadowing of this offense more so than the success or failures of this specific game. So we'll dive right into the film room here. The first play I have loaded up is the very first play from scrimmage. 42-yard line, 1st and 10. They come out in 12 personnel. So you have your 2 tight ends to the right, your 2 wide receivers to the left, Breece Hall as the lone man in the backfield. How I identify this is wing right. So you call it wing right because both your tight ends are attached to the line of scrimmage. And then we have a stack left over here. So these 2 guys are stacked on top of each other in the formation. So it's wing right, stack left. I'll draw the play up before we play it through, but Josh Reynolds is going to come down in a box out or a crack motion as a wide receiver. You're going to see Mason Taylor come across the line of scrimmage, get out into the flat route. I call that a slide route, or I've heard it called a slide route. So that's what we're going with here. Jeremy Ruckert runs a bit of like a shallow cross coming from right to left. Garrett Wilson, he's going to run a corner route. And then all of your offensive linemen are flowing to their right, showing an inside zone motion for Breece Hall, which allows for Justin Fields to do a play action boot, look for his man open in the flat, or second or third level guy being Ruckert or Garrett Wilson. So everything is it's a half read progression, right? He's cutting the field in half. He's only looking at the left side of the field, and he has 3 different layers of options, right? The short, the intermediate, or the deep. So I think the Giants do a good job of blocking it all up, including the quarterback option to keep it and run. But I do like the bones of this play, and this is something the Jets are certainly going to run under Engstrand and Fields a ton. So you get the motion from Reynolds, the slide motion from Mason Taylor. He throws it a little bit late, but it looked like Fields wanted to see if he had the opportunity to run. He ends up throwing it to Mason Taylor. You'll see it from the back end. Mason Taylor comes sliding across. That's why I call it a slide route. Fields looks like he's going to take off and run last second, dumps it off for 4 yards. So I like that. It's going to be a basic concept in our offense. There's nothing really to no variations are really going to come off of that. There could be a delay keeper where Justin Fields just keeps it on his own, but I just wanted to show that play was his only completion to the rookie Mason Taylor, but it is a key concept, I think, in getting Justin Fields out of the pocket on the move, changing the launch point, and allowing him to have some success passing. The second play we have is the check down to Breece Hall, where he had an inaccurate pass due to the pressure by Kayvon Thibodeau on Armand Membou. So before we even get into it, you're going to be watching Armand Membou up at the right side of the offensive line going up against Kayvon Thibodeau here. He's going to get beat with a nice inside move by Thibodeau. Fields doesn't really have a ton of time to throw the pass. What we're looking at conceptually, though, is a little bit of a stick route from the tight end. This is Mason Taylor here. He's going to run about a 5-6 yard stick route. And if it's man coverage, he can break it out. It looked like a fade route from Josh Reynolds in the slot. And then Andrew Beck is running a 5 or 6 yard hitch route, matching Garrett's 5 or 6 yard hitch route on the top side of the play. Then you have Breece checking out right here as a little hook sit, check down option for Justin Fields. But as you can see, when we get through the play, Justin Fields doesn't even have the opportunity to get to that because of Armand Membu getting beat. He's already getting wrapped up as he tries to make the throw. It's over Breece's head, He's not allowed to get his hands on it, or not able to get his hands on it cleanly. We'll see from the back angle here. Right here, Armand Membu sets really wide. It's a 4-man slide protection to the left of the offensive line. Obviously, Vera Tucker through Fashanu are moving to their left. So Membu is isolated one-on-one with Thibodeau. He gets beat inside, as you see here. Fields doesn't necessarily have to jump into his throw, and he could have put it on Breece a little bit better while, absorbing the hit from Thibodeau. But he's also getting hit. He's getting hurried. He didn't really have too much time to make a quick decision, and I think it could have been a better throw, obviously, from Fields, but the situation showed that he didn't have enough time. So I'm not going to put it fully on him. I'm going to put it on Membu as well. But I do like that they're trying to get Breece involved. I feel like he was just looking to Garrett's and Breece side only, as we'll go back and look through it. If we follow his eyes, he's really only looking to that side of the field the entire time. So it looked like it was either going to be to Garrett on the hitch or Breece on the check down. So no matter what, it was going to one of those two guys, and I think that's what I like the most about that play. Your two top pass-catching weapons being targeted in the progression, first and second. The next one we have is the Tippmann bad snap on the RPO. I think it looks like an RPO. It has the bones of an RPO bubble screen or now screen to Garrett Wilson. So we'll play it through, and then we'll talk about it. You have your stack left again with Johnson and Garrett Wilson. Tight end comes in motion. It's setting up for the bones of an RPO play, and we'll see more of it from back here. Breece Hall in the backfield. Jeremy Ruckert lined up to the left. He's going to motion Jeremy Ruckert across. The snap is obviously high. Look where Justin Fields has to go up and get it. He's on his tippy toes all the way up to get it. It looked like Breece, it looks like it's setting up for duo. Inside duo, you have a double team by Simpson and Tippmann, and a double team by Vera Tucker and Membu in the middle here. You get Jeremy Ruckert doing a nice a low block on Kayvon Thibodeau, that might be Brian Burns, and then Kayvon Thibodeau working against Olu Fashanu on the left. So it looked like it had the bones of an RPO play. High snap, he has to corral it, short hops it on the screen to Garrett Wilson. And honestly, I think it's better that he short hopped it at the end of the day, because the snap throws off the timing of the play. Garrett's ready for the pass. It could have worked if he was ready to throw it now, but he's not. He's ready to throw it now, and he's getting ready to release it here. He short hops it anyway, but Garrett gets hit basically as soon as he gets it. So it would have been a -4 or -5 yard play. Instead, it's a 0. So Tippmann throws off the timing of the play. Fields dirts it, which isn't, obviously showing great accuracy, but I think it shows, good awareness that it's a -4 or 5 yard play if he catches it. So might as well just dirt it for a 0 yard pass. This next one here, we have a miss to Garrett Wilson on a hitch route. This was a little bit low, and it hit, I believe it hit the defender in the leg. So it's not, another display of good accuracy from Justin Fields. There is one piece of this play that I think is important to note, and that's Braylon Allen. He's going to scan from left to right in pass protection, and he's going to get all the way out over here on the play, and that could potentially hinder Justin Fields' throwing motion and ability to step up in the pocket. But what we have from the receivers is it looks like a little stutter post route from the slot. I believe that's Tyler Johnson. You have another hitch route on the outside to Josh Reynolds, down to the bottom of the screen. And then you have another hitch to Garrett Wilson up at the top. And I don't like this play from the scheme of it, because I feel like they were all supposed to run to the first down marker. And as you can see, the first down marker is all the way at like the 36 yard line. here. So I don't know where any of these guys were running to get to the sticks. It felt like all of them were going to run short of the sticks anyway, except for maybe the post route in the slot. So I didn't love it from that perspective. Maybe they could have just stemmed their routes 1 or 2 yards more so that if they caught it and were immediately tackled, it was, 4th and inches or at least a first down, obviously. But it would have ended up being a 4th and 2, 4th and 3 situation, even if Garrett caught it based on the way that the routes were run. So I don't love that. We'll play it through. You'll see Braylon, he kind of gets in the way there, but it's a bad throw regardless. Garrett's looking for the flag. The refs definitely let him play. Braylon's, he's scanning to the left. He's kind of got his eyes on 58, but he sees everybody to the right. Sees Brian Burns come off. He gets in the way of Justin Fields here. He's not able to step up into his throw, and it hits the defender in the back of the leg. So the inaccurate pass definitely doesn't help the refs when you're Garrett Wilson and you're looking for a flag like he is right here in this situation. It's definitely got to be a better placed ball by Justin Fields, obviously. But I think right here, Braylon does get in the way a little bit and forces not the most accurate pass. See, it hits the defender right there in the leg. So if that was more to the outside of Garrett where he's able to come get it over here, then maybe the ref is more inclined to throw the flag because it's more of a catchable pass. But it's not really a catchable pass right there, so it's not going to warrant a flag. This is the second drive. That was the third down of the first drive that we just saw from Garrett Wilson. So this is the second drive here. This is the only play where the Jets ran Braylon Allen and Breece Hall on the same play. And I kind of like these formations when they do it, the pony package, everybody likes to call it. This one I like because they're going to motion Braylon out in like a swing motion in the backfield. And that's one of the wrinkles of the play. They're going to do an RPO, like a zone read with Breece Hall going this way, where Justin Fields' eyes are going to be staying on number 0, Brian Burns right here, where if Brian Burns crashes down to the running back, he's going to keep it. And if he stays put and kind of holds the edge there, he's going to hand it off to Breece. So this is one of the elements that they don't really, show us in preseason, but they show us the bones of the play. And I think it's really important to highlight that although they did probably the least successful option here on the play, I also think the Giants were keying in that they weren't going to have a lot of pulls by Justin Fields where he's going to keep it and become a runner where he's exposing himself to big hits in the open field. So we'll play it through. Braylon Allen comes in motion. They run the RPO. His eyes are right on Burns the whole time. Burns does stay home just in case, and that's kind of part of this, right? Justin Fields is going to create that threat where as we see it, motion. So the motion will take the linebacker a little bit out of the box, right? He's going to soften up that box because he's moving this way with Braylon Allen. And then you have number 0 here, Brian Burns, who looks like he's starting to crash down on the running back, right? It looks like he's anticipating Justin Fields handing the ball off, which it doesn't, again, look like a great snap from Joe Tippmann. It looks like it's outside the frame of Justin Fields. We'll see it again. Yeah, again, I don't love this again from Tippmann. It's a little bit outside of Justin's frame, so he has to corral it. But his eyes right here are right on Brian Burns, right? He's staring down Brian Burns, waiting to see if he's going to anticipate going with the running back where he can keep it. In this situation, I think the fact of Burns being here, solidifying the edge, and then you have 58, who I believe is Bobby Okereke, who could just scrape over and get Justin Fields at the second level, would be more conducive to handing the ball off. Obviously, if you also count and do math, you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 offensive linemen for 4 defensive linemen on the Giants on this side. So you'd much rather hand it off to Breece anyway, but you're showing the bones of multiple variations of this offense. John Simpson kind of gets beat there too and doesn't allow for Brees to get through the hole. So not the best play, but it does show you more of what could be with the swing motion and the RPO zone read. I'll show it one more time. I'll do like a freeze frame back here. Right here at this mesh point with Brees, he has the option to keep it or go with the run to the right. And I feel like Justin Fields makes the right call here, but they're also showing you the bones of this being a potential option in the offense where Justin Fields keeps it. And if this defender or this defender works their way towards Justin Fields, he might have the opportunity to throw the swing route to Braylon Allen, and you got defenders coming up and blocking for Braylon Allen. So I'm really excited about this. Obviously, the play itself wasn't successful to its own degree, right? It was only like a 3 or 4 yard gain. And it's just to show you more of what it could be. It could be a swing pass to Braylon. It could be a keeper to Justin Fields. And what it's going to do is make the defense have to key in on a ton of different players on the same play, lighten up the box for the run game, give Justin the option to be a threat with his legs, which we all know is going to be his bread and butter, or, get a screen pass out to one of their other weapons. So I'm really intrigued by that play specifically. And it wasn't a great play, even from the snap by DTereman, but I think there's a lot of positives we could see off of that in the future. The next play, we have a bunch to the left. So a bunch is just 3 wide receivers. So it's a stack plus 1, essentially. Let's see who they are. It's Reynolds, Wilson, and Johnson, with Braylon Allen in the backfield and Mason Taylor attached to the offensive line's right side here. So this is Mason Taylor, Braylon Allen. You have Garrett here, Tyler Johnson, at the point of the bunch, and then Josh Reynolds at the backside. This play. Okay, so this play is the zone read for Justin Fields. This was something that Nick Shine and I watched on his live stream when we were watching the game. They're going to run the ball with Braylon Allen this way. And just like we saw last time, or in the last play, how they had the end man on the line of scrimmage to watch for the zone read, there is no guy here, right? Their guy at the end of the line of scrimmage he's inside by the tight end, so he's not playing more of a wide spot out here where he can key in on Justin Fields keeping the ball and running it. And if Justin Fields kept the ball on this play, again, they're not trying to show you this in the preseason, but if Justin Fields keeps the ball on this play, look what he would have had to work with. So it's basically the same play as last time. The bones of it, it's a run option with the running back, which we see him hand it to Braylon. We have a screen option to Josh Reynolds, or we have the option for Justin Fields to take it and run 50 to 60 yards for a touchdown. This play, obviously Justin could have ran it because of this defender here. I think that's Javon Holland, number 8, the safety for New York. He keys in on the run really bad because they know that the Jets aren't going to keep running it with Fields. But look at how much Fields would have had to work with, knowing that Javon Holland sold out on the run to Braylon Allen. I think that's the interesting layer of this. Obviously, the screen option to Reynolds to the left is great, and you just saw it right there. Holland up at the top right of your screen. He comes crashing down at the mesh point. In a real game scenario, if the defender does this, Justin Fields is keeping this ball and running to daylight and outrunning 24, who's going to turn back and take a bad angle. So that's what I was seeing on that play. I don't really care what the actual result of the play was. It was a couple yard gain for Braylon Allen. There were some good, second level climbs by DTereman and Vera Tucker on the play itself. I wanted to show the bones of what it could be if Justin Fields eventually holds on to these. This next one, Justin Fields is going to opt for the scramble over the checkdown option. I think it would have gained close to the same amount of yards, but maybe in a game situation, I would have liked to see him throw it out to the checkdown and give his playmakers a chance in space. I'm not going to draw this one up, but you're going to see a play action. You got wing left with Ruckert and Mason Taylor, and they're going to motion Mason Taylor across to get to a 2x2 set. They're going to run play action. So you basically have 4 rushers for the Giants, 5 blockers for the Jets. So all 5 of your guys are out running routes. They're big stop routes by Josh Reynolds and Garrett Wilson, about like 18 to 20-yard curls. Some flat routes by Ruckert and Breece Hall, and then a quick out route by Mason Taylor, which he probably could have hit the quick out right here, but it looks like he's keying in on Garrett Wilson, if I'm following his helmet correctly. It looks like he's looking at Garrett Wilson running at the 40-yard line to see what he has, and he doesn't notice that 21 slips off Mason Taylor, and he could have hit him in the flat. So then Justin takes off to run, picks up about 5 or 6 with a scramble, but instead I would have liked to see him, instead of turning, which he's already taken his eyes down to run, I would have liked to see him maybe throw it to Breece over here. This is Zach Kuntz, not Ruckert. Even throw it to Ruckert down here at the bottom. He had guys who could have potentially given him more after the catch instead of sliding and running. But I understand, these guys are really far back in their zone coverage, so he has a ton of room to work with. And in real life, you're just going to take what the defense gives you anyway. So I'm not mad at the decision entirely. He does gain 5 or 6 yards on a first down situation. But in more likely than not, I would like to see him at least throw it to Breece or the tight end in the flat and utilize them as pass catchers to potentially gain 2 or 3 more yards. It looks like Breece could have had some free yards if he threw it to him. But again, can't be mad at the decision by Fields to use his legs. I do think it was a really good pocket by the offensive line. We'll show it here. Play action. Breece sneaks out the B gap. But this is really good protection. Membu one-on-one, Vera Tucker one-on-one, Tippmann getting one-hand help from John Simpson, who's about to, go help Olu Fashanu, it looks like, who's in one-on-one. Nope, he stays on Tippmann. But look at Membu doing a really good job of just Thibodeau is trying to get around him with the speed rush, it looks like, and he just flattens his arc, puts him right into the turf. I think that's kind of what, made Justin Fields jump up in the pocket. But if he was able to reset his stance, which, again, this is asking a lot of Justin Fields, who's never really done this as a passer, but if you're able to reset your feet in this type of pocket here, you could have potentially been able to throw it to one of your flat routes, whether it's Breece or Zach Kuntz. Mason Taylor would have even been able to potentially get a contested catch in this situation. He chooses to run. That's fine. Protect yourself and slide. Again, can't get mad that it's a positive play. But there's just other options on the play that in the future you want to see Justin Fields start to connect on. This one here is the third down concept to Garrett Wilson. Again, they come out wing right, 2 tight ends attached to the line of scrimmage, and they have Braylon Allen in the backfield, Garrett Wilson isolated down at the bottom. 3-by-1 set. They shift over Mason Taylor to Garrett Wilson's side. And what they're going to run here is called, in a lot of offenses, dragon, where it's just a flat or a slant route by Garrett and a flat route by the tight end, which in this case is Mason Taylor. He's got good leverage. It looks like this corner is playing outside leverage, or he's playing, in line with Garrett Wilson, so he could be beat to the inside. But once Justin Fields notices that this linebacker here is playing in man coverage and running to the flat with the tight end, he needs to be able to snap and throw that to Garrett Wilson. We'll play it through to the point of release. He gets to the back of his drop. The defender's here. Fields is looking at it. Fields is looking right into the lane of where he's supposed to throw it. And if he could just put that on Garrett Wilson, he would find it right there, right? This linebacker is no longer in the play. He's running with Mason Taylor to the flat. So these guys are no longer part of the play. Garrett Wilson has 2 to 3 yards of separation on his in-breaking route, and Justin Fields should have been able to put it on with a little bit better accuracy. So the mark that I'm looking at kind of for the ball to be thrown is like right here. We'll see where it actually gets completed. See, it's way behind Garrett, and I'm even off on my mark. But I just feel like it was a little bit behind Garrett Wilson here. We'll play it again from the back angle. Behind Garrett Wilson, DB was able to get his hands through. I want to see what Justin's feet look like on the play. Quick 1, 2, feet in the ground. He's ready to throw. His feet aren't terrible. You know, I would like to see this foot a little bit dug into the ground more. It almost looks like he's kind of slipping into his throw. I know he has a good front foot, but that ball was behind Garrett. That pass realistically should have been here in this little alley here, enough for Garrett to get down before this safety comes over the top. So definitely a lot behind Garrett, and I wish he would have put it on. But in a real life situation, in the regular season game, I feel like in that 3rd and 2, Justin Fields is just going to run it anyway. And like the offense is going to run it, not Justin himself. This is a 3rd and 2 at the 21, 20-yard line. They're about to be in the red zone. They come out in 12 personnel. I understand it's a heavy box right now. They got 5 down linemen and 3 stacked backers in the box. So it is conducive to pass against this cover 1 shell, right? It looks like it's either cover 1 where it's man-to-man on the outside with a single high, or it looks like it's going to be cover 3 where all of the guys bail out into a third of the field. So I think it's a conducive pass look, but I think in a real game, regular season situation, 3rd and 2, when they're driving the field, this was their first legitimate pass play of the drive. The scramble was the only other time that Fields was asked to drop back and pass, and he ended up running it on this drive. So this was the only actual drop back pass of the drive, and it was unsuccessful, but it had good bones, right? Good protection. They got the coverage they wanted with man coverage versus zone. Good leverage. Garrett Wilson had separation. It was just a little bit behind, a little bit late from Justin Fields, and I want to see it put on a little better. So that's going to do it for my film review. I hope everybody took a little bit of something from this. It's not going to be always perfect in the passing game, but there are going to be easier variations for Justin Fields to operate with, whether it's RPO, running it, screen game, quarterback keeper game, getting him out of the pocket. A lot to be excited for. Offensive line looks really good. The running backs look really, really good. So a lot to be excited for with this offense. I think Tanner Engstrand is going to get into his bag a little bit this season. A little bit of LaFleur-esque stuff from him at times. So hope everybody enjoyed. Hit the like button on your way out. Subscribe if you're new. Appreciate everybody for tuning in. And until next time, let's go Jets.